Hey friends, Shauna from glittergivesomemore.com. I make glitter tumblers, I sell glitter, ready-to-use water slides, and quite a few other gifty items. If you have a second, go head on over and check it out. Today we're going to do a tutorial on this Sunset Beach Tumbler. I started with a 30-ounce skinny, sanded and spray painted tumbler that we are using matte Mod Podge on to apply the glitter. When I'm putting my first layer on, it's just for basic coverage. I generally do 2 layers of Mod Podge and glitter. So I'm not very particular per se on the first layer of glitter. You just want to get it as smooth as possible and then start adding your glitter. I'm starting with DayDreams for the bottom of the cup, and as we're transitioning to the next color, we'll tilt the cup up a little bit to create a little bit of an ombre as we transition to the next color. And we're using Frozen Fairytales next. All of these are iridescent glitters, so you're, well, no, I'm sorry. DayDreams is a custom mix, not totally iridescent. But the iridescent glitters definitely want to have some sort of a base coat. If you do a silver, if you don't base coat it and you're just doing it on the silver tumbler, you're not going to get the colors as vibrant. You can still do it, it'll just be a different look. So I went straight into Fab Fuchsia here and kicked myself because I wanted to use Beauty Berry first, which is no big deal. We'll just do that on the second coat of glitter. And we are finishing up with Sweet Sunset. And Sweet Sunset is phenomenal with sparkle. It is, oh, just gorgeous in person. Love it. So we're going to let that dry and then dry brush off all the loose and excess glitters. I get asked all the time where I got this brush that I use to dry brush, and honestly, I don't know. And I've Googled and searched and I cannot find one. So I apologize. Any hard bristle brush, oh my goodness, let me try again. Any hard bristle brush will work. So you don't need that brush. That just happens to be the one that I use. Alright, so we're doing the second layer of Mod Podge now. And I'm starting at the top just because I don't want the blues and the golds to move into my my blues and golds. Hold on one second. Sorry. I had someone asking if they could have a cookie. And I said yes, he was able to have his cookie. So anyways, we're adding the Mod Podge, smoothing it out. You want to make sure there's as few to no lumps, bumps, or ridges in your Mod Podge because it will show through on the glitter. Once you get it nice and smooth, you're going to go ahead and do the exact same thing that we just did with the glitter ombre, starting with DayDreams, moving into Frozen Fairytales, and this time we did remember to do Beauty Berry, and it does make a difference with that ombre. And that one was Frozen Fairytales. Start by tilting the cup up to get the Frozen Fairytales into where the DayDreams ends, and then let it sprinkle down so that you have some spread out for Beauty Berry to fall into as well. And look at the difference. I mean, it's huge when you leave off that color. Beauty Berry is the perfect transition between the Frozen Fairytales and Fab Fuchsia. Like I said, luckily with doing a second layer of glitter, you're able to fix that, and nobody knows it happened except anybody who watches this. And then we're going to go into Fab Fuchsia. And then from Fab Fuchsia back to Sweet Sunset, and we can just admire the sparkle of Sweet Sunset. They all sparkle gorgeous, but Sweet Sunset, there's just something special about that one. Okay, from here we're going to go ahead and remove the tape. When I take the tape off, I do use my finger to pat down that. I think I hit the camera when I'm doing this too. But I use my finger to pat down the edge to make it as smooth as possible. Yep, nice little bump into the camera there. Just quickly pat down those edges so they're nice and smooth. It'll make it easier as you're putting on the epoxy. Less sanding or add layers before it's smooth. Okay, now we have epoxy the cup once we're using already and it's cured. We're using a white dye for the epoxy that we're going to put into a little separate cup. So we use regular clear epoxy to get a full thin layer of epoxy onto the cup, and then we're going to just sporadically drip in the white dye, and I accidentally cut some of that out of the video, so you will see there is white epoxy on the cup and we're hitting it with heat. You will see as I add more. I promise you didn't miss anything. So you will see as I add more to it. I just used my metal stirring stick and drizzle it in, and I alternate between, I'm adding clear epoxy now. I alternate, and that's the white epoxy. I alternate between white and clear epoxy depending on how much movement I want to see, and then I hit it with heat to make it move around the cup, spread out a little bit so you're not having those harsh white clumps. And this is totally up to you on how much heat, how much movement you want. When it's moving pretty good, I will actually stop my turner and get the motor turning in the opposite direction to add a little bit more movement. And I didn't do this whole thing on video. You get the idea. You see it moving. The more heat you put in it, the more it's going to move. If you want more white, you just drizzle some more on there. If you want to break some of that white up, you drizzle some of the clear epoxy in there and it'll separate it out a little bit. And I'll even go in there with my gloved finger if I don't like the way some of it's looking, and I'll maneuver it with my finger too. Like, I didn't want too much of the white going into the bottom gold glitter, so I'll use my finger to scoop it back up to the top. This is not the final layer of epoxy, so it's okay if it's not perfect. Just the look you're going for. I'm adding more white up. No, that one's the clear epoxy. I got some white mixed into it, so I'm adding, it's like a faded white because it's got that, it was mostly clear. Anyways, and I'm just adding a little bit more. And then off camera, I went up a little higher too on the white. And it's all up to you, whatever you're going for. I like a lot of the glitter to show through. So once that's cured, we added the decal, and it's a, oh, I'll link it in the comments. It's a opal, pinkish opal decal. And I'm using the quick coat on it because these decals love to lift on me. So I put 2 coats of quick coat on it, and then I epoxied it for the last time. And this was the final cup. Look at that sparkle. Oh my goodness, I love Sweet Sunset. If you have a minute, check out glittergivesomemore.com. Thanks for watching.